I have something to share with y'all that I was reminded of this week. I've only worn this fragrance a couple of times. And when I first sprayed it, I thought, that's nice. But y'all, about 15 or 20 seconds later, I went to sit the fragrance down and I caught another smell of it. And I said, what's that smell? That smells good. It was me. And it made me realize something. Sometimes we don't recognize our own value until we slow down long enough to notice it. And it made me wonder, how many other things about ourselves have we stopped noticing? Hello, 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 and welcome back to the Priceless Opinion. If you're new here, my name is Janet, and this is a space where we explore thoughtful perspectives on life through storytelling, fragrance, and lived experiences. We believe that sometimes the smallest shift in perspective can completely change the way that we see our lives. Now, let's jump into the conversation. I purchased this travel size of Trudon's 45 degrees. And at first, I wasn't blown away. I thought, it's nice. But those that don't know, a fragrance can change, it can develop, it transforms into something from the initial spray. So, about 30 seconds later, I'm sitting there and suddenly I smelled something beautiful. So beautiful. And my first thought wasn't, wow, this perfume is amazing. My first thought was, oh, what smells good? Something smells good. And then when I realized that it was me, I had to laugh. And I don't know why, but that tiny moment stayed with me. I've only worn it a couple of times, but something about it surprised me. It didn't remind me of another perfume. Instead, it reminded me of a person, me. I don't mean physically, I mean the version of me that walks a little taller, the version of me that smiles a little more, the version of me that remembers I am enough, the version of me that continues to work at managing my emotions, the version of me that's becoming. And this fragrance made me think about self esteem. And I don't think that we talk about self esteem enough because most of us confuse it with confidence, but they are two different things. Confidence isn't loud. Think about the best leader that you probably worked with. They didn't have to announce they were in charge, hear me roar, do as I say, right? They carried themselves differently. People trusted them, they respected them. And confidence is what that person portrayed. So, confidence is an attribute of self esteem. Self esteem is the esteem of self, the value you place on yourself, the opinion that you hold about yourself, the way you view when you look at yourself in the mirror, or when someone tells you something and you know that's not you. That's the value that you have on yourself. And it made me wonder, how much of our self esteem comes from us, ourselves, and how much comes from what we've allowed people to tell us about ourselves. The opening of this fragrance, 45 degrees, has bergamot and honey. Bergamot is bright, citrusy. It reminds me that self esteem starts with how we speak to ourselves, over ourselves. The honey in this, it's sweet, but not sugary. It's rich. And it reminds me that kindness toward ourselves or yourself isn't a weakness, it's nourishment. It's nourishment of your soul. The heart of this is vanilla, and not in the traditional sense of bakery gourmand vanilla. And I know vanilla is called simple at times, but good vanilla isn't simple. It's comforting, it's familiar. It's the kind of scent that doesn't need to prove itself. And self esteem is the same way. It doesn't need attention, it simply knows who it is. And then there's benzoin in the base of this fragrance. And what that is, it's warm. It stays. It helps the fragrance linger. And that's what my self-esteem has become. Not something that depends on compliments, not something that disappears when life gets hard, but something that stays with me for a while on ordinary days, even if it's a difficult day or I'm having the best day. That self esteem stays with me. And, you know, this is only a travel size. And honestly, it's perfect because this fragrance taught me sometimes at first spray, we like, oh, I need more. And that's an analogy to life, right? We need more money. We need more followers. We need more confidence, more success, more life or lived experiences. But a tiny bottle, a 5-minute conversation, one unexpected moment, a shift in your perspective can change the way you see yourself. Because none of those things that I mentioned gets to decide how I see myself. And I'm hoping that they don't get to decide how you see yourself. Not anymore, at least. Because self esteem isn't about arriving, it's about remembering who you are. I was valuable before the promotion, I was valuable before the degree, I was valuable before the relationship or the marriage. I am valuable. So, speaking that over yourself, I am valuable. So, I said all of that to say, I don't think self esteem grows overnight, though. I think it grows through small promises that we keep to ourselves. Getting out of the bed when we said we would, speaking kindly over ourselves, wearing the outfit that makes us feel amazing, talking the talk, walking the walk, and trying something new, celebrating progress instead of perfection. We may not ever get to where we want to go, but we can make progress along the way, small steps, small goals to get to that little by little. And that is how we begin believing in ourselves. So, I would love to know what your perspective is on what makes you feel like you are the most amazing person on the planet. Put it down in the comments below and let's chat about it. It doesn't have to be something elaborate. It could be that you got your hair done and that made you have confidence, which boosted your self esteem about yourself. It doesn't have to impress anyone else. So, whatever you did only has to impress you. But let's talk about it in the comments. I would like to also share mine and I'll share it in the comments. But to let you know, right now, this fragrance is reminding me who I am. And not because of the fragrance, but it's because of the person that's wearing it. And until next time, stay priceless.